Okay, so most of the time I spend my days shooting leadership training videos, but I'm not getting any younger, and so I thought it's probably about time I did a video that was just kind of just fun and entertaining for me. And so I thought, as someone who's almost 50 years old, what should I shoot a video about? And I've always wanted to do something which is jump a mountain bike, and I've never really been able to do it. So today we are going to build a kicker ramp. I feel like I'm floating far, far away. Let me see if I can get closer. Okay, so today we are going to build a little kicker ramp. Hopefully it will work, and at some point before I'm 50, I'm going to learn how to jump a mountain bike. So come along with us. We're going to build a template out of some cardboard. We've never done this before. We don't have any plans to do it. So we're just going to kind of shoot from the hip and see what we can come up with. We're just out here by the trash, and I've got a couple of cardboard boxes. We're going to try to make a template of this ramp before we cut it. And you'll notice that my shorts are completely soaked because getting off the paddleboard in the pool was a little bit harder than I thought. So anyway, it's nice and cool. All right, let's go ahead and build some templates. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got the cardboard, just a flat piece so that we can make a template. We know that we want it to be about up to my knee, so about 20 inches, 21 inches. So we're just gonna make a ramp. This is gonna be the profile of the ramp, and go from there. And just to be clear, it took us about 15 iterations to get to this point, and once we cut it out, we went through another 5 iterations. So it took a while. Ooh, maybe we can get some cheap lumber. That'd be nice. So we are just leaving Home Depot. We've got all the supplies that we need. And as far as we know, this should only cost us $35. We've got 3/4 inch, 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of plywood. We've got a 1 by 3 piece of pine. And we got some wood screws, and I think that's going to be it. But if my experience tells me anything, it's that we are going to be back to Home Depot at least 5 times before this project's over. But for now, we think we've got everything. So here we go. We're going to put it together. Okay, so here I'm starting to cut the first side, and it's not one straight cut, it's 3 individual cuts. So you can see there in the middle, I have to do kind of a plunge cut, cutting right in the middle of the wood to get my second cut. So there's my plunge cut again. And then the third cut, actually looks like I was able to get that one without picking up the saw again. So that's the second side, and now because I didn't really measure really well, and actually we messed around with the angle on it quite a bit. So even after we had the template in place, we still messed around with it. So then I went ahead and cut the surface, and had I measured right, this would have been a great process, but I didn't really measure very well. And so I had to go back and do some recutting quite a bit. But there I got the 2 sides, and that's the top part of the surface of the ramp. So taking that over, and we're going to start, actually before I can start screwing that in, I need to start cutting the supports now. All right, so we got our 2 pieces, our template. We used our template to cut these 2 pieces, and the amazing thing is that the hardest part was deciding what we wanted the angle to be on the ramp, because with all of our experience with jumping, which is vast, we just wanted just the right angle. Actually, we have no experience, and so we had no idea what the angle was supposed to be. But when we first cut it, it looked a little bit steep, and so we took it down just a little bit, and we'll see. So now what we're doing is I'm putting the cross members in. We're going to put a couple of braces in. And then we'll go from there. Then we'll put the, once we got the braces on, we'll put the platform for the ramp itself, and we'll be good to go. So here we go. Okay, so here I'm starting to cut the support pieces, and I really didn't think this one through very well. So I cut it, and then I remeasured and cut again, rather than just using the first one that I cut as the template for the others. So really when you're cutting supports, you should use the first one as a template, and then you just go to your chop saw and make sure they're all exactly the right size. So because the sizes weren't exact. When I put the ramp together here, it didn't line up perfectly as it should. Where is... Oh, I'm missing all my drill bits. Okay, so it's starting to look like a ramp, and the further we go, the more we realize that we're probably both going to be too scared to jump it, because I'm old and feeble. But we got our cross pieces in. We got one more cross piece that's going to go from here to here on the top, and then as we put the ramp pieces on top of the platform, that's going to give it a lot of stability. And then we'll probably put on the back side here, we'll probably put another square piece just for some rigidity. And it's not too heavy so far. I think when we get all the pieces, it's going to be a little bit heavy, but I think it's still small enough to put in the back of the car, and big enough that we should be able to have some good times on it. So anyway, we'll go ahead and put this last cross piece and then start putting the platform on the ramp, and we're just a few minutes away from jumping or being too scared to jump. Okay, so we finished our ramp. You can see we're debating whether or not we're going to keep going and putting maybe some backing here to make it a little bit more stable, but it feels pretty stable. Our biggest challenge was that we didn't have the right kind of screws, and so we kind of had to find screws, so we got random odds and ends, so it doesn't look as nice as I'd like it to. Also, it turns out I'm not really all that great at measuring, and so some of the stuff doesn't line up, but I think it feels stable. I'm pretty confident that it will not disintegrate when we hit it, but the only challenge really at this point is that it's a little bit higher than we expected, so we will probably be arguing who has to hit it first. But I think once we get used to it, I think it's going to be fun. So something new that you learn at 50 years old, I'm going to learn how to jump, hopefully. It is day 2. We finished the ramp, but it got a little bit too dark to really shoot. So confession, we actually did take the ramp to the park last night and we gave it a try. It was a lot of fun. But what we missed was the amount of fear that it required to go over this little ramp. So just so you know, we were terrified. It was really scary, and maybe you'll see a little bit of that today anyway. But we're going to go try to find a new place to jump and show you the ramp. And you can see we've got it loaded here in the car. It fits in the back of our little Pathfinder. We got our stuff ready to go, locked and loaded, and yeah, let's go find a place to jump. Okay, this is our first spot. We'll find a spot down here and see how it works. Okay, so we found a different location. We are just at the bottom of a hill here. Here's Zach coming. What's interesting is that even though it doesn't seem like we're going that far, I just did a quick measurement, and from ramp to landing spot is about 13 feet. So it's a little ramp, but you can get some pretty decent air, even though it doesn't look like it on video. Okay, so there you have it. That is our little kicker ramp project. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time making the ramp, and actually have had a good time jumping it so far. So I mean, there's proof that an old dog can learn new tricks. So at 49 years old, I'm hitting some little mini mini ramps, and it's a starting point. So we'll see where we go from here. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day. Thanks.